Hello, today we're going to talk about the topic of the tack. This will probably be a very boring but hopefully very informative video. So these here are the parts of the tack which we will go into in further detail. But before we move on, any kind of troubleshooting you want to do involving critiquing someone's tack, it's probably going to come down to something happening in one of these parts. So pay close attention. So now what we're going to do is we're going to break that clip down into its component parts and slow it down and pause it in various places so you can see what I'm talking about. So what we're going to see now is the turn into the tack, and what you're going to notice is the maximum angle of the tiller is going to be at, frozen here, is going to be about 45 degrees from the center of the boat. He is then going to wait to begin rising and popping the tiller until the boom is over his head and filling on the other side. So the next part, which involves popping the tiller, which is sort of a change in leverage, is pretty important. You're going to want to watch very closely. So as you can see, he goes from pushing the tiller to changing the angle of the tiller extension relative to the tiller. If you look really closely, you can see this happen, such that the leverage changes. And so now he's pushing the tiller, and he still pushes the tiller after the leverage change, but now his pushing actually brings the tiller back towards the middle of the boat instead of away from him. Next, he's going to grab the side of the boat, the rail, with tiller in hand, holding it by the end of the tiller extension, which is important, which does two things. It locks the tiller in the center of the boat and helps guide him to where he's going to land. So this is the tiller lock. There it is. As you can see, he's grabbing the edge of the boat with the tip of the tiller extension, thereby locking the tiller itself in the center of the boat. He leaps across the boat, leading with his back foot, so the foot towards the stern, which causes his body to naturally pivot forwards instead of backwards, which is important. If you lead with the wrong foot, you'll try and fit. So after you've popped, locked, gotten across, and landed, the next part is the hand switch. I'm going to spend a lot of time on this because it's another thing that's pretty easy to get wrong, but it works really well if you do it right. He's going to take his main sheet hand, which is still frozen here, and bring it to the tiller. What's important is the way he grabs the tiller extension from there. And as you can see, as it zooms in, it's probably going to freeze. He's grabbing it in the same backhanded grip that you ordinarily hold the tiller, okay? This way, when he sits up, he's going to be holding the tiller and the main sheet in the proper microphone-type grip form, which you'll see in just a second. And there we go, back to normal form. So I drew a little picture to try and aid your comprehension of what I'm talking about here. And you can see the top left and the top right are the correct way to do it. So as you can see, that's the figure's right hand. So they're taking a tiller from their own left hand in that sort of backhand grasp with the thumb on the underside of the tiller, as you can see, and hopefully as you can remember from the video. And then that allows them to bring it straight up from underneath their arm, through their armpit, and into proper form. What you do not want to do is what's pictured below with the red X, which is known as the frying pan tiller grip. So you do not want to catch your tiller and be holding it in a frying pan, because this requires an extra step to get yourself back in proper form, and you want your tack to be as fast as possible. So now I'm going to show the same clip again, all the way in slow motion. I want you to note everything we just talked about as it progresses. So here we go. So he's preparing, he's turning the tiller 45 degrees, he's getting his feet together underneath him, he's waiting for the boom. Boom comes across, pop, lock, cross, flatten, hand switch. Oh, okay, and it's all done. And perhaps maybe I'll also show one last clip of it in full speed just to bring you back to reality and hopefully blow your mind at how much has to happen at the same time. Everything I've told you, of course, becomes much more critical when you begin roll tacking, which is what is actually in this video. And basically how roll tack differs, the mechanics are all the same, except that the skipper and crew work together in combination to actually cause the boat to heel up like you saw. For the skipper, this mostly entails just, a slight shift in weight timed with the cruise and being able to pull themselves back into the boat. So you can see this guy actually uses the main sheet to pull himself back in.